Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of The Shit You Care About. I am Brandon, your host, and today we're talking about X019. That is Xbox's conference that they do. As of the past couple of years, they kind of show off a bunch of Microsoft games, Xbox stuff, mostly get you hyped for that next year of Xbox. I'm not the most biggest Xbox fan, but I've been pretty excited about the whole Game Pass and xCloud, and they talk about that a lot. So I figured this would be something I wanted to cover. Let's just jump right into all that news. There is a lot to cover. Big game right off the bat. Another team at Obsidian has been working on a survival game called Grounded. It looks pretty neat. It's kind of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
If the machine had blown up the kids, there'd be pieces of them everywhere.
Video game version. You play as a bunch of kids who've been shrunken down to like the size of an insect, and they roam around their backyard and build and craft and fight other insects and shit like that. It seems pretty cool. Definitely kind of a departure from what Obsidian normally does. They're usually known for making like pretty hardcore RPGs. I guess someone on the team just was like, hey, I got a great idea for a game, and they're like, okay, do it. And they did it. They also mentioned they have multiple studios working on a lot of stuff, so I would not be surprised if we saw more coming out of Obsidian in the soon future for sure. Moving on, we have Don't Nod's Tell Me Why, which is a very interesting sounding sentence, but Don't Nod is a developer, and Tell Me Why is the video game they're making. Don't Nod is really famous for making the Life is Strange series, kind of a story-driven, anything that Telltale has made, sort of similar sort of vibe. Sort of similar. This new one looks pretty heartbreaking. It looks like you're going to be dealing with a transgender character, which is pretty new to games, I have to say. And this might be the first game that you deal with that sort of scenario. I'm not super into these games, but it does look pretty cool. If you're into those sorts of things, I'd hop on that. We got Rare's Everwild. This game looks really cool. I wish they would have showed off more about this. It looks to me kind of like a Breath of the Wild sort of situation, maybe even a little bit of Horizon Zero Dawn in there. They really didn't show off much in the trailer at all. They showed 3 characters, and sometimes they're climbing. They look for creatures in this world. I really am not sure what you're going to be doing yet. It definitely looks like it's going to be a cooperative game, at least from the kind of the mechanics they showed in the trailer. You wandering around with your friends is sort of what they're getting at, I think. Rare said it's focused on building an experience that allows for new players to play in a natural and magical world. So, I don't know what that means, but Rare is a fantastic studio. They've had some hiccups in the past, but I still definitely think they have what it takes to make something great. I'm definitely excited to see more from this Everwild game. It looks really pretty. I'm just curious what you're gonna be doing in the game mostly. Is it just more of an exploration thing? Are you gonna be, I would assume you're dealing with this wildlife in some sort of way. They really show off the wildlife a lot. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to wait to see more. It looks like it's really early in development. They clearly just threw together a trailer for X019. Didn't have much else to say aside of that. Moving on, we're getting a bunch of Final Fantasy games coming to Game Pass, and that's not even where it ends. Like, we're getting so many games coming to Game Pass. It is so awesome. Game Pass is the best, by the way. If you haven't gotten a chance to try it yet, go spend the $1 and do it. Give it a shot. If you got the PC to run it, or you already got an Xbox, it is totally worth the buck to at least give it a shot. You can get 3 months for $1 right now, or a lot of the time they're even running a 1 month for $1 sort of deal. Seriously, try this out. You're going to be getting Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 10-2, 12, all 3 of the 13s, and 15 will all be coming to Game Pass. Along with Final Fantasy, you're going to be getting things like Streets of Rage 4, My Friend Pedro, Witcher 3, a handful of other stuff. Rage 2, Age of Empires Definitive Edition, and even Microsoft's xCloud is also coming to Game Pass. So you're going to be able to play any of your Game Pass games on your phone, on your tablet, on anything. So scratch that. You don't even need an Xbox One or a PC. It is easily the best thing that Xbox has ever done. I really think they are paving the way for this whole like a la carte game service sort of feel, the Netflix of gaming, if you will. Next up is the Yakuza series is finally coming to Xbox One, which is also really cool. Been seeing a lot of hype around Yakuza recently, especially since they've kind of been porting all the old games over to these HD upreses. I've actually even hopped on the bandwagon and played through Yakuza 0 recently. If you're into brawlers or you're into story kind of driven games, you'll love this. It's finally coming to Xbox One, like I mentioned, and of course we're getting it on Game Pass in 2020, so keep an eye out for that. Yakuza, awesome. Speaking of weird Japanese games, we're also getting all of the Kingdom Hearts games over on Xbox One, and they're coming to Game Pass eventually. So we're going to be getting Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8. I'm not sure why they didn't just compile these all into one collection for the Xbox, but whatever, I guess. They're going to be dropping all of those on Xbox along with a demo of Kingdom Hearts 3 that came out the day of X0 2019. So you can go and play that right now if you'd like to. Possibly one of my favorite announcements at this whole show is Halo Reach being added to the Master Chief Collection for console and PC on December 3rd. Oh, the best Halo game is coming to PC, everybody. Everyone should be excited. We all should be excited. This is gonna be a game changer. Get ready to see Halo Reach go to the top of the Twitch charts, dog. No, I'm just kidding. I really don't think there's gonna be a big resurgence for Halo Reach when this comes out, but I'm pretty excited. I'm a huge Halo fan, and Halo Reach in particular is one of my favorite games. So I'm definitely excited to see it on PC, which it's never been on before, and also coming to the Master Chief Collection, which is a beautiful piece of work. When it's fixed, of course. Also, for $40, you really cannot go wrong. You get like, what, 5 or 6 games in that goddamn collection? It's beautiful. And it's going to be on PC. You can purchase Halo Reach for just $10 if you want. If you don't want the whole collection, I recommend getting it, but to each their own. Next up is Wasteland 3, coming on May 19th. This is made by one of the creators of the original Fallout series and the original Wasteland series, of course. He got the IP back from whoever owned it last, and now he's making Wasteland 3. One thing that is pretty cool is this game is set in Colorado. I am from Colorado. I live in Colorado currently, and Colorado is the coolest fucking place on the planet Earth. So I like to see more games in a Colorado setting. This game looks like a pretty hardcore RPG if you're into that sort of thing, and yeah, check that out. Of course, we're getting another update to Sea of Thieves. Does anyone play this game anymore? I'm sure there's a handful of you out there who do, and if you do, let me know. Seriously, I'd love to know what's going on with this game, what's up with it, if anyone's playing it. Apparently there's competitive multiplayer I just found out the other day. That's wacky. They're getting a new update, a big one. It looks like it's going to be called the Seabound Soul. This is one of their big content updates that they put out on occasion. It's got a new Tall Tale Quest, which almost sounds like the Telltale developer, as well as a new ammo type, fire bombs. So keep an eye out for those fire bombs, all right, when you're exploring the high seas. Moving on. We got Nexon's Kart Rider is coming to Xbox. Kart Rider Drift, if you will. Apparently this is an insanely popular game across the world, and I had no clue about it. Apparently a lot of people play this. It's even got a competitive esports scene, and apparently it's coming to Xbox. So yeah, it looked pretty generic to me, I have to admit. I guess if you really just got an itch for a kart riding game and you don't want to play Mario Kart, I guess you would really get anything because there's not a lot of kart riders out there. This came out way back in 2004. It looks like they've updated it a lot since then, and it's got very modern graphics. It's finally coming to Xbox, and I guess if you play that, that's exciting. There's also another game from Nexon called, what was it, Crossfire X that they talked quite a bit about. Once again, had no clue this was nearly as big as it is, and apparently it is the most popular free-to-play online game in the entire world. It's even more popular than Fortnite, which is pretty crazy to think about. Maybe Fortnite is just more of like a US sort of thing and not like an overseas thing. Apparently super duper popular games. They're free to play, they're made by Nexon, and they're finally coming to Xbox. We did get to see a little bit of Crossfire X at E3 earlier in the year. Pretty much just looks like a Call of Duty game to me, but it's free to play. Apparently people really like it though. So all that's coming to Xbox. Keep your eye out. The developer Raw Fury came bursting in the door with West of Dead, a really, really cool like cel-shaded Western sort of stick shooter sort of game. Sorta. It looks like it's gonna kind of have some cool movement mechanics where you kind of vault over stuff and, you know, run and gun people down. Ron Perlman is gonna be playing the voice of the Flaming Skull character. I love the look of the character in this game, by the way. I mean, really, Ron Perlman kills it. Holy shit. He has like the most perfect cowboy voice in the entire world. I'll probably end up trying to pick this up on Game Pass or something when it comes out. Kinda reminds me of the Creature in the Well that came out earlier in this year, at least visually. Yeah, I really like Creature in the Well. I've never played a Raw Fury game before, but this one looks cool. I like that Ron Perlman's in it, and the main character just looks badass for sure. This is a weird one. I don't know if you guys remember Ninja Theory, the people who are well known for making, what was it called? The people who are well known for making Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which is like a story-driven puzzle sort of game, are making a character-based cooperative multiplayer brawler game now? I don't know if you guys remember that, but it looks really weird. It's definitely an odd thing to see coming out of Ninja Theory, a studio really well known for making like action story games. I guess maybe that's kind of where the action plays into that, you know? I guess that's not too far-fetched. It definitely seems like in this game you still like chain combos together and you know, pull off blocks and that sort of thing. Kind of like you'd get in like a Devil May Cry or something like that, which they also actually developed DMC back in 2013. So I guess actually now that I'm talking in front of the camera and putting the pieces out, I guess I can see where they would get that idea. That being said, it's just kind of a weird thing to see coming from a very, very story-driven studio. The characters seem okay to me. Some of them definitely look better than others. I think it's one of those things where you're kind of gonna have to get to know the characters and know why they're doing what they're doing and why they're living in this weird universe. It looks okay, I guess. It looks really colorful. That is something I really dig about the game. I don't know. I definitely would need to get my hands on this first before I judge it really at all. It just looks really odd. I'm not really sure what audience they're going for with this sort of game, but I guess we'll just have to see. It honestly reminds me a lot of Gearbox's 2016 Battleborn. It came out like literally at the same time Overwatch did, and it just flopped hard because of that, which is unfortunate because it's really not a terrible game, to be honest. I get a lot of those vibes from Bleeding Edge, I have to admit. It just seems kind of like a cheesy version of Overwatch, but they're definitely trying to make themselves different by making it more of like a brawler combat sort of thing instead of a first-person shooter. I'd imagine they're trying to get like an esports thing around this game. Definitely weird. So kind of the last really big thing I wanted to go over before ending the video is Project xCloud. That was kind of why I watched this in the first place. This is Xbox's game streaming service, I guess you could say. This is the thing that's actually going to allow you to like stream Xbox games to your devices like your phone or tablets, as well as like streaming Game Pass and stuff like that. So apparently you can try the xCloud preview right now, only on Android, keep in mind, if you just sign up to participate in it. Unfortunately, I do not have an Android phone, or else I would totally get down on this. I at least want to give it a shot and kind of see how it works. I was really impressed with PlayStation Now recently, actually. I hadn't played it since it very first came out, and I gave it a shot recently to play some Metal Gear Solid before Death Stranding came out. I was pretty impressed, I gotta say. I wasn't playing anything too action-packed, I was just playing Metal Gear Solid, so, I mean, obviously the latency doesn't make a huge difference there, but it really has come a long way in a short amount of time. I really think if anyone can make this work well, it probably would be Microsoft. They have the software and hardware experience along with just the money to pour into this sort of thing, and I think that's really what it comes down to, is just having the server space for this sort of thing. It seems like it's just an expensive endeavor. Right now you can only play up to 50 games on the mobile device. It's a very short list of stuff you can do on there right now, but I mean, they're going to be expanding this out so that it'll work on your own library of games and Game Pass, and it's just going to be really, really cool. I'm really excited for kind of this future of game streaming. It seems like we're getting into that really hardcore right now, especially with Google Stadia coming out, in the next week or two right now. That all being said, we kind of got to wait and see what all this ends up looking like here, especially in the next year or two, I'd say. Right now, we're really in the early stages of companies trying to be like, hey, you should try our game streaming stuff. It's finally at that point where it works pretty well. And I think it's going to be that hump for the consumer to get over where it's like, this hasn't worked in the past very well, so is it going to work now? Especially with it being so ubiquitous nowadays and just anyone being able to stream anything on any device, I think that's going to be really the killer there. I don't think it's going to be replacing game consoles anytime soon. There's just something, different about playing on your phone. There really just is. Instead of like on a big TV screen, you know, sitting on a comfortable couch. It's different, but the idea is really cool to be anywhere you want playing your, you know, console games. Like I mentioned though, we're gonna just have to wait and see what happens with all this stuff, because who knows, maybe it'll end up all coming out and just crashing and burning. I doubt it, but we'll see, and I'll keep you all updated with that as more news comes out. Anyway, I think that was just about all I had to cover for the X0 2019 conference. Jeez, my voice is just cracking all over the place today. You'd think I was going through puberty again. Jesus Christ. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'm Brandon. We were looking at the X0 2019 conference. Lots and lots of stuff to go over that. If you guys had any questions or you had any comments, please feel free to tell me down below. I don't even care if you just want to tell me I look ugly today. Let me know. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm Brandon. Have a kick-ass week.